Coming up on today's Cooking Crave, we got some exciting fall recipes. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
Coming up on today's show, we got an awesome cake recipe that was submitted by Jeannie Oberidge of Belfield, and a soup recipe again by Aunt Bernie.
Yes,
all right.
That time of year to make those fall soups that are so comforting and feel so good when it starts getting cold.
Definitely.
But we're first going to start with the recipe for, we're going to do our poppy seed cake dessert recipe first.
Okay.
Because we need to get that in the oven and get that baking. I did preheat the oven at 350.
Okay.
So we're going to get started with that. We're going to just start with a white cake mix. And let me get my beater on here. So, and I just got the Betty Crocker white cake mix. It doesn't make a difference if you got a Duncan Hines or maybe even a store brand, as long as it's just a white cake mix.
I think they're pretty much all the same. Just depends on what you prefer or what's on sale.
What's on sale works best, and then we're going to use one package of Dream Whip.
Okay.
And that just goes in dry. We make the cake and get that baked, and then there's a topping that's going to go on this cake.
All right.
So, and then it asks for 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. So I'm just going to use my Crisco that I have in my cupboard. There we go.
Now this is a dessert too, so it sounds like we might have some frosting or something on top to finish this off.
Well, it's a topping, a little bit different than a frosting. So
okay.
We'll see. And 1 3/4 cup water. We add that, and it asks for 4 egg whites, and we're going to use the egg whites in here because the yolk is going to be used for the topping.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just get them cracked and get the egg whites out here, and I'm going to put it in my bowl that I'm going to use to cook the topping on.
All right.
The topping, it says, to cook in like a double boiler, or, I find with so many of those things, you can, it's so easy to put it in a microwavable bowl and just microwave it, and it doesn't, you watch it close and it doesn't burn. Like if you were going to just put it on a kettle on the stove, just on a regular burner,
okay,
that can scorch really easily, so.
All right. Now I haven't had this dessert, so I'm really anxious to taste this.
No, I haven't. You haven't had this one. Jeannie passed. Oh. Got the yolk in there, so. Jeannie gave me a couple of recipes, and we're going to try another recipe on one of our other cooking shows that
great.
she gave us. It's so fun to get some new recipes from new people, different people. So.
Well, definitely, and always encourage our viewers to submit because, like you said, it is fun to see what other people enjoy, and if you choose not to have your name on the air, we can say anonymously, submitted.
That's
but
right.
We want to give credit where credit is due as well.
Right, absolutely. But we don't want people not to submit a recipe because they don't feel like they want their name on the air. So
right,
we should do that. I'm going to just blend that till it's just, till I got it mixed pretty good, and then I'm going to scrape that off and just beat it on low heat for about 30 seconds. And we also put 3/4 cup poppy seed in this, dry poppy seed. So I'm going to just blend that a little bit more before I put the poppy seed in.
All right.
Okay, well, we blended the cake mix for about 30 seconds, so I'm going to put 3/4 cup dry poppy seed in there. I usually buy my poppy seed in bulk through Allison's Food Pantry.
Oh, okay.
I enjoy that. So let's just blend that a little bit more, and then we'll pop that in the oven. And I already got my prepared cake pan here. I just used some spray and I floured it a little bit. So.
Okay.
And like we were talking, you know, this poppy seed, I really like poppy seed, but you know, even a little bit of poppy seed can make a difference if you ever had to worry about getting drug tested, right?
Well, you could, but I think that, you know, they could specify what it is.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either for sure, but well, after we have a piece of cake, I don't think we're going to go out and speed down the highway.
We won't whoop it up.
So let's just pour that in our prepared cake pan. And then we'll be baking it for, it says 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And a lot of time, you know, when you're using a glass cake pan or a dark cake pan, you maybe just start it at the 25 and check it. And if you need to go a couple more minutes, fine. But I rather see you put it on a little less time and add it rather than, you know, over baking it.
Sure.
So we're gonna get that in the oven. And we'll set our timer for 30 minutes.
And we're baking this at 350 degrees?
Yeah. And I'm gonna start it at 25. I just had said we weren't gonna go the whole 30 minutes right away.
Okay.
Yes, at 350 degrees. And then to make our topping here, of course, we got the 4 egg yolks in here that we separated, you know, the eggs. And it asks for 1/2 stick of margarine or butter.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add that in there. And it's a cup of sugar. And it's got 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of shortening. And we're gonna wait, and the milk. You wanna get the milk
Sure.
out of the fridge for me, please? And I need 2 cups milk. So just put that in there and a pinch of salt. So I'm gonna just shake a little bit in there. And just, there we go. And what I'm going to do is just get this blended a little bit here. And like I said, 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You know, that's our thickening.
Okay.
And it asks for a teaspoon of vanilla. And when it comes to vanilla, I don't worry about ever being real exact because, you know, I really like the flavoring of vanilla, and sometimes I might just add a little bit more.
Sure. It's not an overpowering flavor though, like
No.
when you're actually doing probably some cooking of some spices can be.
Right. I want to just blend that flour and cornstarch in there, and then we're going to just put this in the microwave, and I'm going to just start that about, you know, put it in for about 2 minutes on high, which will be fine, and that'll start getting the milk and the butter melted, and then we'll just, you know, continue to mix that so it doesn't scorch on us. So. I know Jeannie says when she makes it, she uses a double boiler, and I have a double boiler, and that's great. A lot of people don't have a double boiler, but who doesn't have a microwave? So they can certainly, you know, put it in the microwave, and it'll go a little bit quicker, plus, you know, easy to do without burning.
Sounds great.
Okay, our topping here, what I did was I started at 2 minutes, and I stirred it, and I put it back in for a couple more minutes, and stirred it again, and now I just put it back in for about another minute, and I think it's going to be thick.
Okay.
So let's check that out. Okay, and it is. As we stir this, we can see that that is quite thick. And you don't have, like I said, don't have to worry about it scorching. And it certainly will go a little bit quicker in the microwave than a double boiler, but whichever you prefer.
Okay.
If you want to feel like you're really working hard to get that good dessert, you can use the double boiler, so it takes a little longer. So
I'm all for easy.
Okay, so we're gonna need to set that aside and just have it cool. And you know the cake is still baking anyway,
Okay.
but we want that to get quite cool. And then of course it's a boiling hot. So
Okay.
okay, our buzzer is going off for our cake, so let's double check that. The cake had, I did hear the buzzer went off a couple of minutes ago, and I found that it pretty much did take the 30 minutes.
Okay, so even in a glass pan, you just,
Yeah.
again, but it's safer to start at that 25 minutes depending on how your
Right.
oven operates.
That's right. Sometimes some ovens heat a little bit faster or hotter, so you want to. But you know, it's just nice to the touch. You touch it and it kind of springs back, so you know that it is done. So we're going to just set that aside here, and I'll take care of my oven. And now we're going to be able to start. Well, this is cooling, and our topping is also still cooling. We're going to start with our fall potato soup.
Okay, sounds great.
We're going to start with our fall potato soup, and I have put 2 tablespoons of butter in here because we're going to saute some onions, celery, and carrots.
Okay.
The recipe calls for just a stalk of celery,
Okay.
and a carrot, and about a 1/4 to 1/2 cup onion.
So not a lot of vegetables.
No, not just too much. But I started with a big rib of celery.
Yep.
And a fairly big carrot, because I like the vegetables and I like that celery. So we want to just saute that until it's crisp,
Okay.
and that. So we can just turn that down on about medium, and we'll just watch that and just, you know, saute that every once in a while here. Because once, you know, this is sauteed, the soup doesn't take very long to make. Because what we did was we washed, I washed about 10, or maybe there's 12 small potatoes. I washed the you know, with the peelings on, and I boiled them with the peelings. And now I've peeled those, and now we're just going to cube them. So your potatoes are already cooked. You don't need to be, you know, cooking the potatoes. So like I said, you know, it's going to go quite quickly. So it's easy to do. Or what's nice is that you can cook your potatoes, you know, the night before or whenever, and you can just have them ready to go. So we're just going to cube them.
So this is actually what the recipe calls for, not just a time-saving measure, you know, that you cook the potatoes ahead of time.
That's correct. It asks for you to boil your potatoes.
Okay.
And that. And when I did boil my potatoes, I actually just put very little water in my pan and just kind of let it steam more than, you know, really boiling in a lot of water.
Sure.
And that. And even though you have your peelings on, you still want to make sure that you keep as much, you know, your nutrition as you can.
Okay. That's a good tip.
So. And the potatoes here they're definitely done, but they're still firm. You don't want them mushy.
Okay.
So that when you're cubing them, you know, you can cube them very nicely without it falling all apart.
But you don't want it to fall apart in your soup and just become like a thick mush.
Right. And you know, your potato is definitely a starchy food, so your soup can get pretty thick.
Okay.
And when I make this, you know, it asks like just for a cup of milk, or and you add some chicken broth to it, like a can of chicken broth, which is about 14 ounces.
Okay.
You know, I will put a little more generous amount of milk in there, and that, because like I said, don't like a real thick soup.
Okay.
And that. And one thing too, if you have your soup left over, as it sets, it's going to get a little thicker anyway. I mean, anytime you have, well, even noodles or starch, it always will get thicker when it sets. So
that is right. And I mean, just like you were saying, you know, we prefer a little bit soupier soup instead of having more of a stew.
Yes.
Your preference.
Yeah. That's right. You know, you can, and it's very easy when you make soup and it gets too thick. You know, all you have to do is add a little bit more water or milk. It works very well. And one nice with this being we've already pre-cooked your potatoes and you're cutting them, it's a lot easier to dice this than you were dicing raw potatoes.
That, and it's, I mean, if you let them cool like you had, I mean, you're not going to burn yourself either.
Right. And, you know, you're definitely going to want to cool your potatoes so you can handle it and stuff. And I tried a new tip that I had seen on the internet was when I washed my potatoes and then I just went around the center of the potato with a knife, scored it, and when I put it, you know, boiled them, and then when I cooled them off, and you cool it off in ice water too, the peeling comes off so much easier.
Oh.
It did not take very long to peel them potatoes, you know, so that was just a little trick or tidbit that I'd heard, and it does work.
Well, great. That's something that I'll have to try. Just finishing
And
up.
these were some new potatoes that I bought at the farmer's market, so that should really make it good.
All right.
So it's got the true meaning of new fall potato soup, you know.
Yes.
We're going to come back over here now and let's just saute this just a little bit more. Okay, now we're just sauteing our carrots, onion, and celery here. And we've done it pretty well here. Probably won't take too much here. Now that it's sauteed, we're going to add a teaspoon of flour, and just for a little additional flavor, we're going to add a tablespoon of bacon grease.
Oh,
So-
okay. This is a little more old school recipe, I see.
Yes, nothing like bacon grease.
Lard.
Yeah, right. But it adds such a good flavor. I mean, bacon is so flavorful, and I've had it, use it in other soups, and
So is it something that you probably could have added a couple strips of bacon, just crumbled them up in here too?
I think I haven't done it, but absolutely, there would be no reason that you couldn't, to add that. So now we're going to just put that teaspoon of flour in here and just stir that a little bit more. And it also asks for a 14-ounce can of chicken broth. And I usually don't purchase the cans of broth because, you're paying for a lot of water and that. So I just got some chicken flavored base and make my own. And I use about two tablespoons in about 14 ounces of water.
Okay.
And that. So, and that's going to work just as good. And that, so no reason that you, like I said, have to pay for the extra water in chicken broth.
Or whatever's most convenient for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and there's many that have to watch, their budget and their grocery bill and stuff, and those are all little ways that you can cut back and minimize that expense. So I'm going to just remove that, and I'm going to put my potatoes over here, and I'm going to add the chicken broth.
Okay.
There, and so I can add that, put that up just a little bit higher for a little bit to quickly get that heated, and I'm going to add my milk. And like I said, it asks for 1 cup of milk, but I'm going to almost got 2 cups in here.
Okay.
And then we're going to just want to heat this until it's hot. There's no need to boil it or cook it longer because everything is going to be ready to go. And I'll add that in there. And you're going to add, a little bit of pepper and salt to taste.
Sure.
And because of the chicken base, you know, chicken base is pretty salty.
Yes, it is.
So
yeah.
you may not want to add too much salt for this, and just add the salt as you're going to serve it.
Okay.
And that.
When you were cooking your potatoes, did you add any salt to the water in the potatoes?
No, we did not, you know, because the peelings were on.
Okay.
And
okay.
that, so that wouldn't serve too much of a purpose, you know, if your
Okay.
peelings are on. So, but I am going to add a little bit of pepper, and that, just because, you know, the pepper is just a good flavoring, and like I said, when we get that, just heat it up here. And because of the milk, I would watch to make sure it doesn't scorch.
Sure.
I'm going to turn the burner up a little bit higher, but I'm going to kind of just stir that and that. And because the potatoes were cold, you know, I did them yesterday, had them in the fridge, it's going to take a little bit longer just to warm that up. Okay, I did taste the broth a little bit, so I think I'm going to add maybe about a half a teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And that won't be too much. And then, you know, if you need more when you're serving it, they can add additional. So I did turn the burner down a little bit while this heats up, and we'll finish our cake.
Sounds great.
Okay, our cake is cooled here, and so has our topping cooled. And we're going to add this topping on top of the cake. And then when we serve the cake, we can put a little dollop of Cool Whip on it.
Sounds
And
great.
that, so. And you can see how nice and thick this topping has gotten, and that is cool. So I'm going to just put that over the cake.
Now, is this a topping with the ingredients that we have in it that you could have made the night before as well? As well as your cake, and then the next day just top it like this?
Absolutely, yeah, because you know you want your cake cool, and you also want your filling cool, or your topping. So that's a good way to do it.
Okay. Oh, it makes quite a bit of topping as well.
Yeah. And that was, you know, using our egg yolks, and that we didn't put in the cake when we mixed up the cake. And what I would do though, with your leftover dessert here, if you know, when you serve it and you got some leftover, because of the topping and it's got the egg yolk and that in there, even though it's cooked, I would still store it in the fridge.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to dig into this.
You know, and that's just going to be a nice little touch. You know, you've had that good hearty soup and need something just to satisfy that sweet tooth. We'll be able just to serve a little bit of cake.
Sounds perfect.
And we'll just be able to take a little bit out there and show you what that finished product will look like. And I do have some Cool Whip in the fridge if you'd like to get that. So that's just easy to serve there. I'll get out a fork and, okay, there, and then we'll just, we got the fork to eat, but now we need a spoon to put the Cool Whip on. There, just put a dollop of that on there. You know, you surely could just, you know, top your cake with the Cool Whip too, but I think it's just a little bit easier just to wait and put that Cool Whip on before you serve it.
Well,
And that and
yes.
stuff, so. And then some people don't always like, you know, that extra topping, just because of this filling that you have on top. The Cool Whip is just a little nice added touch, but isn't necessary.
Okay.
So let's come back over and check out our soup here. And that is just about, I can tell it's getting pretty warm, but not quite where I want it to be yet. So we'll just leave that go for another couple of minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll dish that out and see how that tastes.
Sounds good.
Okay, our soup here is just nice and hot and steaming. Like I said, I didn't bring it to a boil, which isn't necessary, so I'm going to bring it over here. And we're going to just dish some out here.
There's nothing better than soup.
Oh,
Just warm comfort
Yeah.
food, and the fall winter days coming up. Nice recipe, easy.
oh, absolutely.
I think your whole family will enjoy this
Yeah.
one.
And one thing too now, just to add a little bit of extra, you can add, if you like onion, I chopped a little bit of green onion, and then you can top it off with a little bit of grated cheddar cheese.
All right, well, let's
So
just,
you can put that on there. And like I said, to like whatever soup is left, tomorrow it definitely will be a little bit thicker. And if you don't like it quite that thick yet, add a little bit more milk or water. But if you like it a little bit more consistency, you're gonna be just perfect tomorrow.
all right.
So we're gonna set this back over here. And we'll just show you kind of what this is all about here.
Well, and also, again, we'd like to thank these ladies on Bernie's Astapel for submitting the soup recipe. She has funded us with a lot of recipes for our show, and they've always been delicious. They're delicious. They're tried and true recipes
Yes.
that have gone through the family, and everybody loves them.
That's right.
So again, thank you, Aunt Bernie and Jeannie Oberidge, for this awesome looking cake. I can't wait to dig in and try it. To get these recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com, and please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd also like to thank the Workshop as our sponsor. Have a
Yes.
great day.
That's right. Have a good day.